everyone, it is Saturday, August 12th, and we got some CrossFit news for you today. Going to be talking retirements, athletes going individual, some injury news, and some off-season competition news. First up, let's talk some retirements. With 2023 CrossFit Games in the books, athletes are starting to contemplate their future and what to do for next season. So we got McQuade. She had previously announced that the 2023 CrossFit Games would be her last, but after a medical withdrawal resulted in a very disappointing 36th place for her, she's starting to contemplate what to do next. Obviously, for an athlete to go out with a medical withdrawal is not how they want to leave the sport. So Emma McQuade announced that her future as an athlete is to be continued. So whether that means that we'll see her in an off-season competition, whether or not she'll make another run at the games in 2024, that's to be determined, but it will be exciting to see her on the competition floor at least once more. Next up, we got Paulson. He also announced that this would be his last season at the CrossFit Games. After being an individual for 6 years, he shifted his focus to the team competition, joining CrossFit East National Team Proven. They were finished second on the podium this year. While similar to McQuade, Paulson doesn't know exactly what his competitive future will be. He has announced that he's going to be coaching 3 athletes, hoping to share his knowledge to get them to the CrossFit Games. So if you fall into that elite athlete bucket and want to work with Paulson, you can obviously reach out to him. Be prepared to be able to send it on the Echo Bike, because that will definitely be a trait of one of his athletes. Also transitioning to coaching, you got Chris Harris. He just finished 4th on the Move Fast Live Heavy team at the CrossFit Games. He's also shifting to coaching and also looking to bring on 3 elite athletes to share his knowledge and experience, hoping to get them to the CrossFit Games. On injury news, Lucy Campbell, the 2022 16th fittest woman on earth, missed all of this season as a result of a broken wrist, which she competed on in 2022. She shared recently that a couple weeks ago she underwent wrist surgery and hoping to repair her wrist. It is not a for sure thing. The odds of a fully functional wrist for her are in the 70% range, so she is doing everything she can to focus on that. But best wishes for her. Hopefully we can see her back for another run at the CrossFit Games, since 2 wins as a rookie is definitely something we'd like to see her build upon. So best wishes to Lucy Campbell and a speedy recovery. On the individual field standpoint, Jorge Fernandez from CrossFit Invictus, fittest team on earth, announced that he will be transitioning to the individual field next year. Not ultimately that surprising, since it is something he hinted on in the offseason last year, that the Invictus team was going to take one final run for the top of the podium, which congratulations to them, they succeeded on. Fernandez, we saw him last year at the 2022 Rogue Invitational. He made it through as one of the 5 qualifiers for that event and finished 13th overall. Fernandez beat out Games athletes from this year like Henrik Haperlainen, Cole Sager, Jack Farlow, and Lazar Ducic. So adding Fernandez to the mix in North America West should definitely make things interesting. And we'll see how he ranks up with the rest of that field, since it is very top heavy, but they also had the fewest number of spots for the men out of all the 60 athlete competitions this year. Moving on to off-season competitions, today down in Sydney, Australia, a trio of CrossFit athletes took on Hyrox. So on the men's side, Garard finished 2nd overall, just 3 minutes behind the overall leader. 5th overall, you had James Newbury, and on the women's side, you had Katelin Van Ziel, who just missed out qualifying out of the Torian Pro this year for the CrossFit Games. So great to see the CrossFit athletes transition to Hyrox and showing their elite level of fitness there. Looking at the off-season CrossFit competitions this year, with the games over, they're starting to announce the elite athletes that will be taking part in their field. First up is Madrid Championship, which takes place September 7th through 10th. They recently announced that Adrian Moonweiler will be taking on the elite competition this year. Moonweiler is a mainstay in the off-season competitions in Europe. Unfortunately, he missed this season, or the CrossFit season, due to an injury. So it'll be great to see him back on the competition floor. The Madrid Championship has already announced athletes Travis Mayer, Noah Olsen, and Turi Helgadottir in their elite ranks. So we'll definitely see more announcements over the upcoming weeks in what is the richest competition in Europe in the off-season. Also in Europe, you got the Marbella Championship, which takes place October 6th to 8th. Luka Ducic has been announced as one of the elite athletes competing there. Marbella also previously announced that Games athletes from this year, Emmett Tall, David Shrunky, and Corinne Freyova will be there. So definitely expect a who's who from the Europe standpoint being there. A good mix of Games athletes as well as up-and-comers from a semifinal standpoint competing this year. So as we go into semifinals next year, it'll be good to see how some of these athletes rank up in Marbella and Madrid going into the season. On the North America side of things, the Rogue Invitational has announced that its prize purse has grown to over $1.5 million. This is over $110,000 greater than the 2022 prize purse, which paid out at $1.39 million. This is great for the athletes that are invited to the competition, as well as the athletes that make it through the qualifier. So last year, there was 15 men and women who were invited and 5 who made it through the qualifier. So it's great to see in what is the most prestigious and most richest prize outside of the CrossFit Games continue to grow and gives us a great off-season competition in October. And then last up, the Dubai Fitness Championship has announced its dates to December 8th. More details are to come from this. Last year they did a qualifying competition for all 20 men and women who went to the competition. So they said they would announce more details shortly. So we will see what's to come there. And that, my friends, is the CrossFit news for this week.